Meet Tom, and like you, he loves pizza. Tom's mum says that he and his brother can each have some pizza. She says that one option is 4/5 of a whole pizza, while the other is 5/8 of a whole pizza. Both boys want the largest slice. Which slice should Tom choose? Comparing two fractions with different denominators can be tricky. Benchmarking is a strategy that we can add to our mathematics toolbox to help us solve questions like this. When we compare the value of two unfamiliar fractions, we can use what we know about what a half and a whole is to help us estimate what a fraction might mean. This can be done by estimating that a fraction is close to 0, a half, or a whole. Let's look at the fraction 4/5 as our example. When we look at this fraction on the number line, we can see that 4/5 is more than a half, and almost a whole, so we could say that 4/5 is close to a whole. Let's use this thinking to solve the problem at hand. Which piece is larger? Let's take a look on a number line. As we saw earlier, 4/5 is close to a whole. And if we have a look at the fraction 5/8, we can see that it's just a little bit more than a half, so we could say it is close to a half. So to answer the question which slice is larger, we now know that 4/5 is almost a whole and 5/8 is close to a half. Knowing that a whole is more than a half, we can say that 4/5 is larger. Let's have a look another way. Using what we know about equivalent fractions, we know that 4/8 is the same as 1/2. Therefore, 5/8 will be just a little bit more than a half. If we were to compare this to the fraction 4/5, we know that 4/5 is much more than a half and a little bit less than a whole, so it would look a little something like this. So as we can see, 4/5 of a pizza is larger than 5/8. What if Tom's mum made this a little harder for them? She now says that one piece of pizza is still 4/5 of a whole pizza, but the other slice is 5/6 of a whole pizza. Both slices are close to a whole. How could Tom work this out to pick the larger slice? To help us, we could use another strategy called residual thinking. Residual thinking requires us to ask ourselves a question: how much more do I need to make this whole? Looking at the fractions 4/5 and 5/6, we know that both fractions need one more part to make each a whole. If we look at these two parts a bit closer, we can see that 1/6 is smaller than 1/5. Knowing that 1/6 is smaller than 1/5, we know that 5/6 is closer to being whole, and therefore larger.